Guys, we're back, guys and girls. December 9th, we are putting these things out every Monday, 9 a.m. I'm working hard to get that done. So, so if you haven't noticed, just to go over quick a little overview of how the podcast works, I put out the podcast on YouTube and obviously like any kind of way of listening to a podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, etc. It mainly goes on to anchor.fm/roaming lost and gets spread out through there. And the main area, the main hub is roaminglost.co. That's the website. In the blog, you can get each blog has links to all the info and whatnot. So be sure to check it out, roaminglost.co. And in this episode, we're talking with my buddy Adam Schock. He is the main guy doing Colfax Design Works, and he makes bags and accessories. And he also works for other companies and is mainly, his job title, I guess, is product designer. Rides motorcycles, goes on cool trips. And if you want to check him out, it's at Colfax Design Works and on Instagram. So, yeah, let's jump into it and talk with Adam here.
Anyways, so I'm here with Adam Schock, Colfax Design Works Co.
No co.
Design
after I came up with the name, which took me a long time to finally find one that I like.
Yeah.
I realized it makes for the longest email address ever because it's ashock@colfaxdesignworks.com.
Yeah.
Which I just realized I said on your podcast now, so I might get some emails coming through.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're good emails.
Maybe they're good. Hopefully they're good emails.
Yeah.
That I realized I was like, that's a really long email address.
Yeah.
And I should have just made it like at cdw.com.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. You could always do that now. You can do that anytime.
It's true.
It's a pain in the butt.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Like dealing with, I don't know if you use G Suite or whatever. You just have to redo a whole new email system, which is pain.
Yeah.
And then you got to tell everyone about your new email, and it's even more of a pain. But where did you get how did you come up with the name? I actually don't know I don't know this.
I grew up out in Colorado. Lived in Denver for a while. Colfax was one of the main streets that ran through.
Oh, okay.
That we used to live right off of, and we used to go tear it up out on Colfax Avenue.
Yeah, it kind of. If I'm thinking of Denver, it kind of reminds me of like probably been on that street.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's one of the longest running streets in the U.S.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it goes for a long time. They have the Colfax Marathon that runs pretty much down the entire thing.
Nice. So you mainly make bags, but that's not what you do. That's you kind of like are you an engineer or product designer or
get classified as a product designer.
Okay.
But I think it's a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
It's development, sourcing, and even, trying to incorporate like how these products are going to get made. So even like the production aspect.
Yeah. I mean, you basically you're a one-man show for the bags.
One-man show, yeah.
So you even make them. So
some of them.
Like, yeah, some of them. Well, obviously, I mean, I think you make all your samples.
Yeah, I do all the early development stuff.
Yeah.
But with the RF welding bags, the dry bags, I don't have the machine to do that. And so I usually just start off doing just sewn samples to kind of get the dimensions or placements right of zippers or all sorts of different stuff and kind of working through some of the feature sets. And then handing that off to my manufacturer and working with them to actually make the samples of those. But
Okay.
like all the cut and sewn like pouches and all that stuff,
Camera straps
is all done in house.
Yeah, nice. And then oh, that was speaker. That was my speaker that just turned off.
Oh.
So that caught me off guard. So you pretty much make the samples in house, like you make them at your home in the garage.
Yeah.
So it's real small overhead and just like, just what would you call that? Like I'm thinking of like a garage band, but like the clothing version. You know what I mean?
Garage
It's
brand?
It's like garage brand, punk brands.
It's super punk.
Yeah. But you also do it for other companies.
I do, yeah. Half the business is the branded goods, which everybody sees on like Instagram and on website that I sell, branded under the Colfax brand, and then the other side of the business is contract design development, production for bags, other technical accessories.
Cool. And what are some of the, like, is there anything that people would know that you've brought to market?
Just recently, or not just recently, a little bit ago, the Answer Wolf tactical vest.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that was one of my.
Those are cool.
Yeah, that was a good project. I think that's like one of the products that I'm really stoked on. And number two is like, talking about like the process of like how things are made and testing. That was done really well. We did early kind of concept sketching and working back and forth with the guys over at Answer to kind of come up with the concept, and then sent off the designs. Most of the contract stuff is done overseas just due to cost. Yeah. Versus made in the U.S. Versus overseas. And so we flew overseas to my partner factory over there to review samples. Made some comments. We got a second set of samples done. And then Scott from Answer and I took the samples, flew from Ho Chi Minh up to Hanoi, and rented some motorbikes and cruised around for 4 days. We were testing the product out in the field, which is pretty awesome.
Could be worse.
Could be worse, yeah.
Yeah.
But you like using the product for its intended use.
Yeah.
I think is critical.
It's like it's not the best R&D you could possibly.
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes it's not fully abused, in a way. Yeah. It's like, R&D gets you by. Yeah. But yeah, that's true testing.
Not only that, but it also, I think, brings like a lot of insight into the product and like how it should be used or
making it better.
Like things that you think, or problems that you're solving, you're actually not, you're making it worse, potentially by, arrangements of pockets or the way like a seam is folded, or where a strap's located. Yeah. Or even just feature sets in general. Like, you think you need a hydration bladder, but you really don't, or, you need this extra sternum strap and you just come to find out that it's, more cumbersome than what it's worth. So,
yeah. Yeah. So, with the products that you put out, for under your name, it's all American made though, right?
It's all American made. Yeah.
So I mean, we've talked about this, but how do you like producing products that are American made versus going on the cheaper route? Why is it better to you? I mean, there's the obvious reasons. Like,
what would you say the obvious reasons are? Because I think there's a big misconception about this.
Giving other Americans jobs.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Maybe like quality control. No.
Nope. I think that's a big misconception.
Really?
Yeah. You got to understand these overseas factories. And when I say overseas, like you're talking China, Southeast Asia, Philippines, Indonesia. Yeah. They're very good at what they do. Yeah. They're very good.
I mean, they're doing it.
They've been doing it.
Significant amount more time than probably a place in America.
Yes and no. I mean, I think there's definitely an interesting history about like the the production, USA made production.
Yeah.
You know, there was a big shift from, you know, after the war, you know, eventually we started shifting production overseas. You know, labor rates were cheaper.
Yeah.
We could get the cost down. And I think we kind of done it to ourselves. You know, this, I call it like the Walmart effect, and that we, you know, we expect products to be as cheap as possible. And I think for a while, it's starting to shift now that people just, you know, didn't really care where it was made.
Yeah.
You know, all they really cared about was the price.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, definitely it's been shifting now of people want to know not only where it's made, what is it made out of, who's actually making it. But as far as quality goes, you know, products have been being made overseas for a long time, and they're very efficient at it.
Yeah.
I think, like, I was actually just talking with somebody else about this, about like even within the industries of how, you know, efficient footwear factories are compared to like a bag factory.
Huh.
It's kind of night and day difference. And I think the bag industry is definitely due for some more innovation as far as production goes.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's not to say there's not factories out there doing it, but I think it's just trying to catch on to it and growing that a little bit more.
Get on the same level as shoes.
Yeah. I mean, even with shoes, like, I mean, or even bags, like going back to bags, like people think, you know, there's a lot of machines that will just like do a lot of the steps, and it's actually still done by hand.
Oh, okay. You versus a shoe.
Yeah, or like shoe might be more, you know, like injection molding, or, you know, or molding the lowers, and it's, you know,
bunch of glue.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so
but I think to answer your question about the QC, I mean, an overseas factory is very diligent about making sure that every bag that's getting put into a box and getting shipped over here is perfect.
But how do you see the customer side react towards American? Because you touched on it just a tad, but American versus overseas. Because you said more people are trying to be aware, I guess. You know, being more sustainable products and, like, you know, that whole thing. Where do you think that's going? Because it seemed to grow quite a bit this year, or at least I've noticed it more this year personally.
Yeah. Definitely, there's more an interest in the sustainable goods, and I think that the idea of like what it's made out of recycled nylons or polyesters, taking, you know, the regrind plastic water bottles and mixing that in with, you know, different other blends of threads to make the fabrics or textiles.
Your shirts are partially plastic, right?
Yeah. They take the plastic water bottles, grind it up, and then make a thread, and then kind of weave that together with either a cotton or a nylon, you know, and then actually
so it's
make
like partially.
Yeah, it's like
recycled.
For every t-shirt, it's 5 water bottles.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's better than no water bottles, right?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, touching on like the American-made stuff, which I am a big fan of. You know, I'm a proponent. I do make all the branded stuff here in the U.S. And a lot of brands I don't think talk about this is the environmental reasons.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, you're talking, you know, for me to go up to my production facility to get the stuff made is, you know, not that far compared to making stuff over in China or Vietnam or anywhere, and then shipping it on a boat over here. You know, you got to figure the transportation industry is actually, nobody likes to talk about this, about how much they actually pollute or.
Oh yeah. Well, I was just watching a thing about I was just watching the Tesla thing. It's I saw it on Instagram, I think today, about how a diesel engine produces the same CO2 as a Tesla like factory.
Yeah.
So for every car, it's like it's still the same amount of like output, but just in a different way. In a different way.
Yeah, I saw something similar about that, about how, you know, like mining the rare earth or materials,
like lithium, all the lithium and stuff. But
you know,
it's
still being mined by, you know, trucks that are run on diesel. But at the same time, like, is it just a shift? You know.
Yeah.
You know, is it that there are no electric earth movers and diggers and they're just technology hasn't gotten to that point.
Tesla put out that semi thing, right? I mean, or like they're going to
I haven't seen that one.
It's like a 6-wheel or whatever the semis are, however many wheels there are. But yeah, I saw a video of one driving. It would look like a semi, but it was a Tesla. So I mean,
the autonomous driver?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I guess that's a step in that direction. But you still had to produce the vehicle, the
batteries.
Yeah. And even the factory that made the car. Mm-hmm. Because I'm sure that car there. I don't know. Maybe the factories run on electric. But either way,
I thought all the Tesla factories were solar powered.
Were they?
I thought so.
That'd be. I mean, I didn't know. I don't really know much about Tesla.
I don't either.
But anyways, like either way, someone's mining something for something. So it's like, you can't really escape it until we find like a renewable energy that doesn't like come from anywhere. I mean,
the other thing I was reading about, and I got to start looking this up, is somebody was talking about glass batteries.
Oh, I
compared to lithium ion. Apparently, they're supposed to be better.
Huh? Yeah,
and
I don't know.
Glass is easy to manufacture. It's just sand.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It's a lot easier to mine up than lithium ion.
Yeah, the AGM batteries. I think those are partially. Those are the glass ones.
Are they? I don't know that much about the technology, but
I don't either.
I saw it and I was intrigued. So I figured I'd go down the rabbit hole, and I'm sure spend half a day researching glass batteries now.
Yeah. So anything what do you like? What would you say is the difficulty of like doing? There's kind of a 2-part question. What would you say the difficulty of being an entrepreneur now? These are deep questions, right?
Yeah.
Entrepreneur now with like social media, blah blah blah, untraditional, way. Because like if like back when I was like 18, I would have never thought to be like my own. I would have to work for a company, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to, get 401k, like health insurance and all this shit. But now everyone is fucking freelancer.
Yeah.
Or seems like, especially in our groups and realms and all that. What do you think is difficult about doing that nowadays? Versus like, I guess the traditional, I mean, you might have not experienced the traditional, but what do you think of like everyone competing to start their own company and blah, blah, blah?
I don't think they're like competing.
Not competing, but like, pretty much anyone can start a company, right?
Yeah, I'd say
for the most part.
Well, it's easier now than ever.
Yeah.
With the tools and technology, about.
But you have other independent bag companies that you probably are aware of, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you think of like that, like that it's like, it's not competition because you're probably all a little different, but
well, I think there was a difference. Like some people I talk to like kind of have that idea of like it's a competition, and I think for a lot of us that have gone out and start something, I mean, you can't ever knock somebody else's hustle.
Yeah, no, because you're doing the same thing.
You're doing the same thing. You might not like their product, or you might not agree with some of their marketing choices, but at the same time, like, who am I to judge them? They're trying to make $1 just like me.
For sure.
So
do you find it like easier? Well, it's obviously it's easier with social media. Like, what do you think of like using that kind of stuff like to grow your business? Do you like that, or do you hate that part of the hustle?
I don't like it too much.
Yeah,
I really don't. I think for me, I'd rather be spending time in my studio, like cutting fabric and sewing and like thinking through ideas rather than worrying about what time I should send this post out. Because if I post it at Tuesday at 9 a.m., I'm going to get, 4% more likes compared to, a Thursday at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the point of the question was like, for me, I find myself not shooting photos as much as I would like, because that's the fun part, right? That's why I want to do it. I am 90% doing all the other stuff, or I'm doing like, I have to do a podcast because I was like just going crazy, just, taking photos for work or whatever, just to switch it up. But it's the other stuff that kind of like drains the like creative part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because some people like it. Some people love, I mean, they're more of a businessman, I guess, than I, or whoever else. But it's always interesting to hear people's takes on the new marketing ways of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm as much as I dislike it and having to do with it, I'm thankful for it just because, to get an Instagram account's for free.
Yeah, totally.
It's a way to reach an audience that
you didn't have before.
I didn't have before. Before it was always like, oh, I need to take an ad in a magazine, and those magazines.
Just cross your fingers.
Yeah. but I mean, it's even shifted. I mean, like these trend blogs. I mean, some of them out there, they want buku bucks just to get a feature.
Oh, really?
On them. Yeah. I mean, that's a business to them. They started this trend blog, and they get so many views a day, and they can help promote your products and your brand. And,
yeah, that's true.
But I mean, God, I think what has I heard? Hype Beast. One of the big ones is like
Hype Beast is up there.
10,000 or something a post.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where you want it on their blog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these are like, we'll post something about you and we'll keep it up at the top for 3 days.
X amount of days. It's pretty much like billboard ads.
It is. It's digital billboards.
Yeah. But the one thing I like that you do is, because you just did this the other day, is the events, like the Carryology thing.
Yeah.
Like I think seeing, especially with your product, because it's so much nice. It's like, it's so hard to tell the quality aspect on the internet, but to see it in person, I think is a much different experience. But
well, I think that's because the product is kind of more on the simplistic side. It's not feature rich where, I think there's kind of two. I was actually talking about this at that event. I mean, Carryology guys are great. They're dedicated to all things carry and travel, and they really know their stuff, and the whole staff over there is great. And the event was pretty cool just because it was a bunch of fellow gear guys and, bags, people geek out on, and
a lot of people wearing bags. I saw.
A lot of people wearing bags. A lot of, yeah. And also shout out to Brown Buffalo for hosting that event and opening up the studio.
What is that? Just real quick.
Brown Buffalo is kind of similar story, I think, to Colfax.
They make bags though.
They make bags, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he's been doing it much longer than I have.
Is it leather?
No, they're all like nylons,
gotcha,
canvas, and that kind of stuff.
Oh, cool.
But he has a shop down in Costa Mesa that he makes stuff out of as well, and he also does some consulting. Yeah. The other cool thing he does is he opens up his studio to these classes where you can go and learn how to sew and actually make a bag.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's rad.
And I think a lot of people go into it thinking it's going to be a lot easier to make a bag.
Yeah.
And then what it really is and all the steps on it.
Quickly realize the difficulty.
Yeah. Or the amount of steps that go into it. And I think, like going back to one of your questions, you talked, about overseas, and we mentioned like I kind of call it the Walmart effect, and that we've done this to ourselves and expect products to be as cheap as they are. But there's a separation of like, if I was to give you a product, say a bag, right? Because we're talking about bags right now. And I said, how much is X bag worth to you? And say $60, $80, $100, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then if I turn around and I said, what would it cost me to have you produce said bag, right? I want you to cut and sew and assemble and do everything. I mean, you'd probably want way more money than what that
number goes up for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's that separation of like what we hold the value of something and like the manpower or the man hours to make it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where that like made in the USA kind of comes into like, you know, overseas labor rates are much cheaper than American labor rates.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the American made, it's definitely a pride part aspect for me, at least. It's like my American made's clothing or whatever, like I feel like is worth more because, and it usually is more, because it's like, it just feels nicer than the cheaper stuff that I could get and that I have gotten and ruined like much faster. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I feel like,
I think the big question is like, what percentage more is made in the USA worth to you?
Yeah. Yeah. Like you the amount of like dollar wise, is it 10% more? You know, if it said bag is $100 overseas, is a made in the USA one worth $110, $120, $130? And it's a sliding scale, like depending on who you're talking to. Some people just don't care. And some people are saying they're willing to pay twice as much. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think if I had an example, it'd be pants, like, or jeans or whatever. The ones that I've spent $250 on versus $100, I mean, they've lasted much longer.
Yeah. So
that value to me was worth it. Like $150 difference. Like, yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like double the amount but then you're doubling hopefully you're doubling the time of use. So it ends up being the same.
Yeah.
But a little bit less wasteful.
I'm a little bit funny with clothes though. Like for me, I'm willing to spend more for nicer stuff.
Yeah.
But I tend to wear it more.
Yeah. So then you're wearing it.
I wear it out more.
Yeah. No, I know. It's like a double-edged sword, I guess.
But I'd rather spend, $200 on a pair of pants and know that, it's like my everyday pair of pants. I love.
I definitely have less of things if they last longer.
And I think that's where it's kind of shifting towards. Like, I think this idea of like minimalism.
Yeah.
Like I don't need 5 pairs of pants. You know, I can get away with 3.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to spend more money to know that it's either going to last longer or the quality's better or I like it better. Than own, I guess, quality over quantity anymore.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are well, not a lot, but a good amount of people are quality over quantity, especially like the people that go to those events like that you were just in. It's like obviously they're there to find a product that is not like $50. It's going to be much more expensive, but maybe it replaces or is something that they were looking for.
Yeah. You're talking about like technology and like social media too. It's so easy for people to go online and read reviews anymore of like, if a company charges a lot of money for set products and they end up failing or wearing out really fast, like, people are quick to call you out on it too.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to hide from people and then unfortunately. But yeah, I think there's definitely a place obviously for a higher quality product anytime, no matter where it's being made,
Yeah, I think the brands are doing really good too about educating people on quality. Now there's still a bunch out there that are, premium such and such, and it's really not,
Yeah, just the premium tag
just
onto it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's definitely it's getting there. It's like it's with any kind of like thing. Education seems to be really important, especially now, like especially with like the off-road stuff.
Yeah.
And the like with the cleanup and stuff, it's like just adding education into what we're talking about is even more beneficial than actually picking up trash because it prevents the future of it versus like, like the past of it, because you can't really change the past.
Yeah.
But we're getting that conversation talking,
I mean, I struggle with it because I did both cleanups.
Yeah.
And the first one, I was just amazed by how much trash was out there.
It's pretty mind
like I left just really down on humanity.
Yeah.
And
really puts you in a dark place.
It really did. And I was driving home. My buddy came out with me. I dragged him out to the desert. He was the only one that ended up cutting his finger.
Yeah, that's
open.
right.
He
That's
had to
right.
go get stitches.
Yeah, that's why we have a liability form now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But he was up on his tetanus shot, so it was good.
Yeah.
But we were discussing this about how are we just enabling other people to go out and trash public lands?
Yeah.
And, you know, even beach cleanup, I think it's the same idea. You know, it's public land. We all go and use it and love it, and we should take care of it.
Yeah.
And on our way home, we were discussing about this idea of, are we enabling other people to be like, well, we can trash it because somebody else is going to come and do a cleanup day?
Yeah. I mean, that is a depressing ass way to look at it, but I guess it's a point.
Well, yeah, and it was, I know, on the downside, but I think after cleaning up trash for a day out in the desert, I mean, I felt good about myself, but I felt
not so
down
good about
on society.
humanity. Yeah.
But so when we went to the second cleanup, you know, it was really great to hear that you guys went and scouted the areas that we did the first year.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they're still really good.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I guess we are making a difference, you know? And
yeah, I mean, so yeah, March, the last one was in March. I mean, it's a good amount of time, especially because of summer. Like, you know, like that's obviously a busy time for, I mean, from spring to fall, it's like that's busy time for the park. So, and that area is like the number one overflow spot. So, yeah, I mean, and it's also shooting area. I mean, each time we talk about it, it's like it's the same information, but it's nice that it's getting a little bit better. We did a lot that last time, which was insane. But again, there was still trash left. So, but yeah, I think
you're right.
The conversation,
it's bringing awareness to it.
Yeah, the awareness is what's important.
There was a study done about trying to improve people's usage of power consumption. Okay. Yeah. And so they were trying different tactics to get people to lower their usage of energy. And, you know, they're trying different ways. And the number one reason or the number one effective way to do it is to say that your neighbor is actually more conservative about consuming power than you are.
Making it a competition. Yeah.
And so I think the bringing awareness kind of is that like, well, everybody else litters. I don't. Yeah. If in fact, I actually go out and pick up trash.
Yeah. It's like a brownie point.
It's a brownie point.
Yeah.
And I pick up more trash than you do.
Yeah.
And then that, you know, that kind of turns it snowballs really quickly.
Yeah. The very first talks of how we would do the raffle tickets, that was a conversation of how to make it or like not how to make it, but like should it be a competition? And I was strongly, I mean, it was me battling with me because I was the first one, just in my head. Because I pretty much put on the first one, and Jordan helped out and whatnot. So it's like, yeah, it's like I don't want people battling. Like I don't want to battle over trash. It's like let's just go do it, you know.
Yeah.
But it does put a competition makes people work a hell of a lot harder. Mm-hmm. So. Especially if it's for something like, you know, raffle ticket or, you know, there's like a tangible prize at the end. But I don't think we'll ever make it a competition. But yeah, I think that's a valid way to get people to do shit.
It is. Just I think is that kind of like, isn't that capitalism at its finest?
Yeah.
You know, it's like why I need to try to make my products better than somebody else's products.
Yeah.
You know, it's all competition.
Yeah, it is. And in a way, it's like, it's same. That's the same with like the products and even what I do, what you do. It's like, there's a lot of good people that are good at what they do out there.
There
like
are.
Really good photographers, much better than I.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean I can't not do it. And it doesn't mean we can't work. Like you know, it's nice to work with other photographers and stuff too. So,
but does it depress you? Like, seeing maybe another photographer that you don't think is as good as you, but they are
successful.
More successful.
Yeah. they must be better at something else that I'm not.
The marketing or the business side of it, right?
Yeah. But like the thing is like I live off of photography, and I hardly post work stuff, so it's like I'm doing just fine.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like I don't need, the way I do my work is not through social media. I don't get hired. I like 10% get hired through Instagram.
Where do you find most of the clients then?
Just like
word of mouth,
cold calls, cold emails, just like hustling in the way of like how a lot of other people don't do.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like that's more success. That's more of a success rate for me than it is being like, I'll post your bag.
Yeah.
You know, it's like no one wants that. Like no one wants that from my following. You know what I mean? At least I don't think so. Because I don't think people follow me to get like gear reviews and stuff like that. I don't know.
Maybe they do.
But maybe. I mean, I don't know. And if they do, let me know. I don't know. Shit.
Yeah, I get. But some people say like I need to post more about like the client side.
Yeah.
Of the business.
Behind the scenes,
like what other products I'm working on.
I would like to see it too.
See, there you go. But so why wouldn't people want to hear your thoughts on product?
This is my behind the scenes, is talking with other people. I don't know. I just I'm like, it's funny because I'm a private person, but I'm not. I do the vlogging, and like I'm selective.
Yeah.
With my of what I put out there. But then there's some people that put everything out there, and they might be the ones that are more successful. But it's only because you're seeing all the positive, you're not seeing the other side of it.
Yeah. I mean, definitely Instagram is
it's one-sided.
It's very one-sided. Yeah. I thought it'd be hilarious to start an account that's just like nothing but terrible things.
Yeah. Well, that's
about like news. My day. No, about like my day. So like,
if you were completely honest on what you did every day, what did I do? I'll be completely honest what I did this today.
Okay.
I woke up at 10 a.m.
I hate you already.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, but I didn't go to bed till 3. So for whatever reason, stress, anxiety, like I couldn't go to sleep. Woke up at 10. I played with the dog outside, like throwing the ball around.
Yeah.
Made some coffee, drank some coffee, and then just sat here and waited for you.
Yeah, sorry I was late.
No, but that's all I did today. I mean, at least that's all I've done so far, and there's nothing glamorous about that. I mean, yesterday I sent out a couple emails, but it's like within the last 12 hours, I haven't really done anything like super exciting. But some people, it seems like they're fucking super exciting all the time. And I
just think that's what they want you to see.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a kind of a facade.
No, it is, but it works, I think.
It does work.
Yeah. Because it definitely makes you feel like crap. Like when you're just sitting around.
So, I mean, what do you think about Instagram taking away the likes?
Oh, I'm all for it.
I am too.
Because like I said, I don't really make money off likes or like a social response. It's definitely like a part of what I do and like how I tell stories or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a way of sharing and connecting and like, whatever other stuff. But for like work wise, it doesn't really, I don't think it will affect anything because I'm not an influencer. I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
So I feel like social media is not made for, but like used more for influencing people versus like a portfolio in a way.
I think everybody says like influencers are still the future for advertising. And
yeah.
I think there's going to be, I think there's actually going to be a shift coming because I don't think they're as effective as.
I don't think they are.
As these companies think they are.
Yeah.
It's hard. And I know it's hard to draw a correlation between like, what this person is posting about my company and how much does that translate into sales?
Yeah.
I know you can't really.
It's hard to track.
It's hard to track, but
unless you're doing like the.
I think after so much time it's been going on, these
Yeah.
companies aren't seeing the return that they initially thought.
Yeah, the return investment was so high right at the beginning that
because it was really cheap then.
Well, yeah,
it was cheaper, not really cheap,
and there
cheaper.
was less
people doing it.
Now there is an abundance of people. There's micro influencers. There's like it just goes. It hits every market, and I don't know how anyone affords to live off of an influencer salary, but I don't know if that's like even a thing. But like to make $100 on a post, there's no way I could do that for a living.
I think the idea, the end goal for that is like trying to be like an ambassador for a brand.
Yeah, which is more something that I would be into than I would, because if it's a part of my gear or like if it's a part of my life and I'm using it, then obviously I'm using it for a reason. I'm not like trying to like hustle these bags for like, you know what I mean? Like the camera bags I use, it's like they're all low pro because they're fucking good bags. Yeah. And they're like, I have 2 low pro bags right on the other side of you. But like, it's like, and if people want to go check it out, then, by all means, but I'm not trying to sell them a bag,
I think that's more effective than you trying to sell them a bag.
Yeah. Now that's fine, but it's definitely, it makes me feel a little bit better to not be like, trying to take or to give someone else's money to another company, basically. Or make people feel like they need that. They don't need that bag.
I'm in the same boat. Like I tell, like I always undersell. I think the Colfax bags. Yeah. Like you don't need it. You don't need it. I'm really happy if you want to buy one.
But there's others. There's other selling points for your bags. Yeah. Quality, durability. Like,
but it's just like catch-22, right? Like, I want to make products, but at the same time, I think
you don't want to be a salesperson.
No, I don't want to be. Yeah, it's true. I don't want to be a salesperson. Yeah. But the opposite side is, I think we make too much stuff as like a species. Yeah. So here I am trying to make like good quality bags so they last longer, but at the same time, I get down on myself because I'm contributing to the amount of stuff we make.
Yeah, but you might be replacing a bag that is just going to go in the landfill every other year.
That's what I hope.
Yeah. But there's no control over that. You can't control that.
I can't control that.
Yeah.
The only thing I can control is trying to control the quality of the bags.
Yeah. And the longer the bag lasts, even if it doesn't stay with the one person that bought it. Yeah. And it just, doesn't go to the landfill or doesn't get trashed or whatever, then it's going to live on. It's like, there's like a bunch of, there's plates from 73, 75. I collect license plates from New Hampshire because they say live free or die.
They're pretty awesome.
But it's like, at least that's not in the trash. Like, I'm stoked that it's not. It's lived. I even have even older ones.
Where are they?
They're in the closet, but at least they're not in a. It's like a dump or whatever. Yeah. Like they're whoever's they were. That it's like it's cool that I don't know have someone's history. It would probably on 73. It probably would on a sick ass car.
Probably.
But yeah, and then there's like a freaking hiking bag behind you. It's like, I don't know. It's just, I guess I'm not a minimalist at all. I have a lot of stuff, but at least I have the stuff for a long period of time. And that definitely makes me feel a little bit better about having it versus, getting Walmart stuff. And,
fast fashion.
Yeah. So.
I know. I heard there's a big issue with the fast fashion. So, like all the used clothes, say you're going to like Goodwill or any of that stuff, stuff that doesn't even sell there. Like what happens to it? Oh yeah. They actually bundle it up and they sell it by the metric ton. Oh. And they send it to third world countries and they can buy it and then sell it over there. Oh. But the quality now is getting so bad because of the fast fashion that they're not buying it.
Oh, so then
it just ends up in the landfills.
Yeah. Wow. Wouldn't even thought of that. Yeah. It's like, why wouldn't you just donate it then?
They do. They donate it. Yeah. Right. And then the donation the donation centers don't even want it
Oh,
because they
God.
can't sell it
That's crazy.
because it's meant to last, I don't know, a
Yeah.
handful of times wearing
Maybe
it.
less than a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it just falls apart. And then the other stuff is because it's made so poorly that they can't, you know, the materials or the printing or like whatever, it's even worse.
yeah. It just doesn't go anywhere.
Nope.
Brutal.
So you can wear a shirt for $9.99 for a handful of times because you're going out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're going out in a $9 shirt. You better. Shit, that shirt might be. That's probably right as hell.
Spending $20 on a cocktail.
Yeah, yeah. Your shirt was cheaper than your cocktail.
Yeah, that's true.
That's crazy. Well, if there was anything that you could tell people about, like what you do, and like kind of like any advice or because I feel like what you do is not so common anymore. It's not like people aren't going to be welders and like they're not doing like these jobs that I feel like aren't as like glamorous in a way, because I mean, I guess product design is obviously, there's tons of people that do product design, but like in the way of sustainable, and like people are interested in, the people that are interested in kind of like leading that kind of like product. Is there anything that you might be able to like offer as advice to kind of lead them in a way of being better with their products, or I don't know.
I think it's just being more aware.
Yeah, education.
Education.
Yeah.
Companies are getting really savvy about, trying to educate the consumer.
Yeah.
The information's out there, and but at the same time, like I know I'm at fault. Like you don't see all this stuff on the Colfax website, which I probably should post. It's more.
I mean, that could be
conversations. You know, I always try to talk about it if people are interested in it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a big part of why, or it gives you an opportunity of like talking with people in those events style.
Or on a podcast.
Yeah, or a podcast. Which have you done? Is this your first podcast?
This is my first podcast.
I've had a bunch of the one that's coming out, the second episode is his first podcast, and he's like a travel photographer. But yeah, I mean, like talking about it.
Yeah. But I always try to be like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather have like the product. Actually, I'd rather have the product like the most forefront.
Yeah.
Like if you see anything, I hope it's just one of the bags.
Yeah.
Next up would be like, I guess the website or
the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm happy being behind the curtain.
Yeah. I feel I get caught between the two. Like I do like being behind the scenes.
But one of my friends, he had some good advice. He's like, people believe in people, not brands.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a really good point. That one burns a little.
That did.
But it's true, because like, I mean, brands like come and go, but if you put a human behind it, it's like kind of like, it kind of gives it a little bit more life than
just the company,
shoe or whatever. Yeah. And I think people can appreciate it more versus like they just pass over it just because it's just another like duffel bag. It's like you're talking about it, you're trying to be aware, you're trying to educate. It's like there's a lot to it than just a bag, but like, yeah, it's hard to be in the forefront if you're not really used to it.
Yeah.
Which I've never, like, I've never been like that. I've always been like kind of like an uncool kid, So it's like I'm trying to be in the forefront, but in an awkward way. And like, like it's like, I don't know, I'm just trying to do the best I can. And that's what we're all pretty much trying to do. But yeah, it's just like, I think it's nice to, if people can connect with you on a like human level,
personal level.
Yeah. It's always a bonus. Like do you follow Gary Vee?
No, I see some of his stuff, and
it pops up. Like
it pops up, and
I've enjoyed it more because of this exact reason is
Mm-hmm.
like he is very. It doesn't always like apply to me,
Yeah.
but he is very personable in a indirect way. I don't know how he does it. He's a lot of stuff hits home for me, especially like the not having like judge the judger. It's like, yeah, I mean that's that's applicable to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
Yeah,
the
I think
people.
I saw that post of yours.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of.
Well, it's like what I was talking about earlier. Like, I might not agree with,
Yeah.
somebody or some company, but you don't knock them for trying.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's plenty of negativity.
Oh, there's so
there,
much.
So it doesn't need. There's no need to add to it. But
I'm happy just like carving out my little own niche and living in it, and try and do the best that I can.
Totally.
With as little as I can.
Yeah. I mean, as long as the bills are paid, I mean, honestly, if I can put some money in the savings, it's like, what else can you really ask for?
Yeah.
I'm not asking for like a Ferrari or some shit, That's not, I mean, I would love one. So if anyone wants to get me one.
But Ferrari wants to be a sponsor of this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think it's something nice about the simplicity of just not getting by, but like living comfortably.
I mean, go back to the influencers though. I think that's like it's like a game to them. It's like, what can I get for free?
Yeah.
I mean, I get hit up all the time about, hey,
send me bags.
Yeah. I'm gonna go do this business.
Yeah.
You're gonna see all this return, and like, I don't. If you go look on their pages, it's like not even related to what I do or what I make or whatever.
I think that's like a mass, message. It's like just like they work with pretty much anyone that will give them anything.
They'll give them money.
Yeah.
Like,
even if but that's the thing. Like they might be getting paid a couple $100, and they're just trying to make it happen. They're trying to hustle.
But then I feel bad on the other side because like people have reached out and and they're like, hey, we want to work with you, and their stuff is really good, but it's such a small operation. And I'm just like, hey, I'm already covered. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you just got to do kind of what's best for you. And especially with the bags that you make, they're not cheap.
No.
You can't just like throw them out and like it's give them away like
it's just
nothing.
like handing away money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the returns, like honestly, with a lot of that stuff is once again, it's never that good.
It's not a huge margin. Yeah.
It's not a huge margin, or the deliverables that I get back are not worth it.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I think quality over quantity is where it's heading. So hopefully I'm in the quality aspect, not so much on the other side of it. And that's kind of like why I do all these different things to try to, offer more, the more you have to offer, I think is even with anything, with product, with, any kind of quality based, deliverable or product, whatever.
I mean, there's a bunch of companies out there, and like if you're sending out, to bad quality products, eventually it'll catch up, and people.
I don't know how they can sustain that,
Yeah, you can't anymore.
Cool. Well, we're at around our limit here. Usually we keep them around an hour.
That went fast.
Yeah, it does go by really fast.
I was a little worried that we wouldn't have that much to talk about.
Oh yeah, it never is that. That's never the case. There's always tons to talk about. Any last words? Where can people, sell yourself a little bit here?
I don't want to sell myself. You can go to Instagram, Colfax Design Works. You can check us out on www.colfaxdesignworks.com.
That's those two main spots.
Pretty much the two main.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with like an email list or like Facebook
but
there's just too much.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot, especially for one person.
Yeah.
Because I try to do that stuff, but it's like, I mean, newsletter didn't go out this morning for today's podcast.
Yeah, you're too busy playing with the dog and drinking coffee.
Exactly. But yeah, all right. Well, thanks for taking the time to come out.
Appreciate you coming.
All right.
All right, guys, another episode down. I'm stoked to have Adam come out and talk. We've been talking about having him do the podcast for a while, so now it's done. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you can review and rate the podcast and help spread the word, that'd be awesome. I have an idea for a giveaway coming here soon. So if you do listen to the podcast, you are the only one who's going to know about it because it's at the end of each. It's going to be at the end of one of these episodes here, and if you follow along until the end, and thank you again because that's awesome. But yeah, till next time. Thanks, guys.